Our story continues after Kane announces that he wants to become an adventurer when he grows up. His father tells him he will need a lot of knowledge for that, so he's going to arrange tutors for him. Hearing this makes Kane very happy that he is finally getting to begin the life he was dreaming about since he got reincarnated. As he lies around in bed, he fantasizes what his tutors would be like. Maybe a witch, or a big muscular Hulk, or maybe something dangerous. His daydreaming is cut short by the announcement of his tutor's arrival. Kane was too excited to be calm about things. The moment he saw his tutors walking towards the mansion, he used a magic skill called Move to instantly get in front of them. But his inexperience in controlling magic made him misjudge his capabilities and caused him to free fall without a parachute to the ground. This random sight had his tutors surprised. Luckily, Kane's fall was softened due to a cushion which happened to be there. His tutors, confused by what he was doing, thought he needed some milk, but she told him she doesn't have any yet. Kane gets apologetic for his abruptness. His butler interrupts them and introduces them as Kane's tutors, Millie and Nina. Kane meekly introduces himself as Kane Von Silford. A flustered Millie and a cool-headed Nina introduce themselves to Kane and his father. Millie, having to stand in front of nobles, was flustered, but seeing as Nina's introduction was short, Millie pulls on Nina's cape and tells her not to be rude. As she pulled on Nina's cape, Kane got a chance to see that Nina was an elf, which fascinated him. Kane's father said that it's alright since they were his son's tutors after all. His father decided that they would be training him for the next 3 years. Millie and Nina happily accepted it and told Kane that they were looking forward to it. They take him outside to do a general test and they started off with swordsmanship. Seeing that he was unexpectedly good, Nina teased Millie, saying that he might even be better than her. Millie suggests that they have a mock battle and tells him to give it his all. Millie couldn't believe the power and force he had in his strikes and wondered if he actually was 5 years old. Kane tells her that it is true and that he had just received his baptism a few days ago, but they could not believe what they were hearing. Nina asked him if he had the protection of the god of war because of his skill. Kane tells her he does, but that he wasn't supposed to tell this to anyone outside the family. Millie asks for a time out because she couldn't keep up with his pace and suggests that Nina try showing him some magic so that she can catch her breath. Nina agrees, confident in her abilities since she has level 3 protection from the god of magic. Not realizing that Kane was already playing around with magic, she suggests that they start off with the basics. But Kane tells her that he has already learned the basics from books and goes to show her what he can do without thinking about it much. He shows her water ball, fireball, and rock bullet, quickly, one after the other without any chanting. She thought he might be a genius since it takes years of intense training to be able to get to that level. Kane innocently said that's all he can do since he is a beginner. What makes it more impossible that he has all the elements and not even the palace mages are capable of that, especially with such power. Nina inquired with Kane if he had the protection of the god of magic too. Both Millie and Nina were surprised to know that he had the protection of 2 gods. His skills surpassed those of his tutors. Millie and Nina, who were amazed by his abilities, thought there may be nothing they could teach him. He shocks them even further by showing off his item box, which was a rare skill. They decide it won't make sense to teach him indoors anymore since his powers were too strong, and they decide to train him outside the mansion, but they would have to convince his father first. They inform Kane's father that he has a lot of potential and is very powerful, but if he trains in the mansion, he will destroy it. His father knew that this would happen someday, but not on the very first day. He recognizes his son's remarkable potential and allows Millie and Nina to continue his training outside the mansion. They venture into the outside world, embracing the life of adventurers, trying to find out what he is capable of. Nina tells him to cast an intermediate level magic. He casts a firewall spell and destroys the landscape, making a huge crater, which makes Nina comment that that wasn't intermediate level magic. They believe that such a big spell should have tired him out, but he says he's okay, making them realize he has tons of reserves of mana. During their training session, a peculiar creature known as a killer rabbit appears. Though seemingly harmless, Millie and Nina caution Kane against engaging with it, but he manages to kill it in one hit. Since it was his first kill, Kane wanted to show it to his mother and sister and stores it in his item box. Seeing how cool the item box skill was, Millie expresses how she wanted a magic bag, as it works in a similar way for someone who doesn't have the skill, but it was too expensive to buy. They decide to hunt some more, so Nina uses her skill Search, which is used to find monsters in the area. She locates some 300 meters ahead. Seeing this makes Kane excited. He asks her how she used that magic. She explains that she searched for the monster's magic by spreading a thin layer of her own magic around. Kane goes ahead and tries it out and is successful on his first try, making them surprised. They go and fight off the remaining killer rabbits, and one tries to escape into the forest. Kane tries to go after it, but they stop him. They explain that the forest nearby is dangerous and it is home to formidable monsters that periodically pose a threat to the city. Kane's rapid progress does not go unnoticed. He has already achieved level 8. He exclaims that his rapid growth is due to the 100x experience points and ability enhancements provided by his status as God's chosen. He ponders the dangers of anyone finding this out, since it surpasses what would be considered humanly possible, and blames the gods for it. Meanwhile, Kane is accompanied by Millie and Nina, who guide him towards an establishment. They discuss their intention to gather information on stronger monsters at the guild. Kane expresses his excitement about visiting the guild. Upon arriving at the guild, Kane marvels at the establishment's appearance. Rudy, the guild receptionist, greets them. Kane notices that she's got dog ears and it has him excited. During the conversation, Rudy finds out that Kane is the son of the domain lord. However, the attention quickly shifts to a confrontation between Kane's tutors and some hooligans at the guild, who belittle their rank and presence. As tensions rise, Kane defends the women, displaying his swordsmanship and martial arts. Despite the opposition, Kane remains resolute and vows to protect his mentors. Using his strength and agility, he dodges and shifus the thugs and gives them a good spanking before tossing them out of the guild. Kane's tutors thank him for saving them, and they head over to the forest to train. As 3 years pass by, Kane grew stronger under his tutors. As he leveled up, his skills grew stronger. He made many memories with them over the past few years as they adventured together, completing quests and eating together. As their time together was coming to an end, Kane wondered if he could do something as a token of gratitude for all that they taught him. He remembered that Millie wanted a magic bag, and he decided to go get some materials from the dangerous forest and make one himself. For Millie, he hunted a bloody ogre so that he could make her a red bag, and for Nina, he hunted a earth dragon so he could make her a green bag. Since he was using powerful magic to defeat these monsters, the guards at the city walls believed that there was going to be a monster outbreak. They sounded the bell and called on the Lord to launch an attack before the monsters arrived near the city. Little did he know, it was his son creating the ruckus which had them all panicking. When they arrived at the scene, all they could see was a crater, with the only proof that Cain was responsible was a towel he left behind. On the last day of training, Millie and Nina reflect and talk about Cain's growth and how much stronger he is than both of them, and how sad it is that today they say goodbye. As Millie and Nina congratulate Cain on graduating, he presents them with the bags he made for them. He explains to them where he got the materials he used, and even though they were from strong monsters, there were regular magic bags inside. Innocently, he says he made it only to hold his entire mansion. He didn't realize that making a bag like that would be extremely rare and impossible. It would be considered a national treasure. Nevertheless, they are both very appreciative of the gift and give him a peck on the cheek, making Cain flustered. His tutors tell him if he ever wants their help after he grows up, to let them know. Our episode ends with Cain's father confronting him with the towel he found at the crater. He told him that the soldiers thought it was a monster outbreak and asked him what did he do. He tries to explain to his father, but his father scolded him and told him to think about his actions before he takes them. He keeps scolding him as Cain keeps apologizing profusely.